It does involve a shift, but tradition says that it's only in the fourth jhana that sense experience, that is, say, experience of the five physical senses, is entirely in abeyance. I mean, short of the fourth jhana, you do continue to be functioning in that way. You are aware of the external world. So your eyes may be closed, but you are still actually seeing as you're seeing the inside of your eyelids, and you're still hearing. But your attention is greatly withdrawn. I'm not sure about that at all. I wouldn't say that, say, Keats' experience of the nightingale, assuming he did actually hear a nightingale literally, which I believe actually was the case. I wouldn't say that was just as a sense experience, because the fact that he wrote a poem about the nightingale meant, I would have thought, that the nightingale was much more than a nightingale. That the nightingale became, for want of a better term, a symbol, and it was because he apprehended the nightingale in that way that his experience of the nightingale, so to speak, was an extremely intense one, so intense that it produced the poem.
But it also involved a sense experience of the nightingale, but there was a sort of an element of sense.
Oh yes, but that provided the starting point, because yes, let's say there was an actual nightingale there, there was a little bird, and he heard the song. But that has all sorts of other associations, for Keats, and on that account he has a very intense experience. It's not just an ornithological experience, so to speak.
What about art? For instance, Turner's landscape painting, where there was a very intense experience without the same degree of conceptual associations, but still it seems a very intense, even intensely positive emotional response to sense experience.
Well, what is it that makes Turner? And what is it that that makes a painting or a landscape by Turner different from a, say, colour photograph? I mean, clearly there is something which Turner sees, so to speak, in the landscape, which he manages to communicate. There's colour. There's just a certain way of looking at the landscape, not perhaps in a very obvious way, a certain way of seeing it, so that it's made, so to speak, to mean something almost. Perhaps one sees this most of all in some of the Zen landscapes. Where the artist has succeeded in communicating his sort of vision. One could even say he sees the blade of grass or the bamboo as it really is, or at least in greater depth, in a way that a lesser artist doesn't see. He succeeds in communicating something of that.
But is there a withdrawal from sense experience in a case like that?
But I mean, this also raises the question: what does one mean by withdrawal? I mean, the sense object is there. You mirror it. You could say, there is no unskillful mental state arising in connection with it. So it's one could say a pure sense experience. But nonetheless, there is sense experience there, and that provides the starting point, and that provides, in a way, the medium of communication for the artist. But if you were to go deeper than that, well, you'd no longer, if say you were to get into fourth jhana, well, you'd no longer experience, that particular sense object, and in a sense, you would have gone beyond art, you might say. But it does seem that quite a degree of spiritual experience, including insight experience, is compatible with sense experience. There's nothing wrong with sense experience. It's the unskillful, mental states that arise in connection with it, that, as it were, contaminate the sense experience. Where the sense experience itself, the fact that the eye sees a visual object, or the ear hears, an auditory object, is not in the least unskillful or unspiritual. That is pure manu niyama. That is, so to speak, karmically and ethically quite neutral. So the senses are quite innocent in themselves. They're merely perceptive mechanisms. So sense experience is incompatible with a very high level of jhana experience. It's not incompatible with a lower level of jhana experience, and is not incompatible with insight. When you have insight, you don't cease to see things and hear things. You carry on seeing and hearing in a sense exactly as before, but you see them in a different sort of way, with a different attitude. In a sense, yes, because in the case of a kasina, you've got a disc of colour, a disc of light, and you just allow yourself to become absorbed in that, and it's that which leads you to the experience of the jhanas. So you have a pure sense experience without any, in a sense, reaction, without any sort of suddenly any unskillful mental state arising in connection with it. You're able to become absorbed in it because colour is of that nature. It draws the attention. There's nothing to think about. You just experience. You just perceive the colour. So in that way, you can become very absorbed, very concentrated, and from the kasina progress to jhana-like experience or jhana experience.